I have not been in the driver's room since Seoul, season 8. I haven't finished. I either finished on the podium or last.
So, Jake Dennis, we're going to have a little look back at your Formula E career so far. Obviously, there's much more of it to come, hopefully. Let's go, a little history lesson. Let's go right back to the pre-joining FE. Your thoughts of the championship, what you were thinking going into it. But I want to know before you got the call, basically.
Before I got the call, so honestly, the last sort of 5 years I'd followed Formula E, including the 3 years I've been involved with it. So probably 2 years before I first officially joined, so season 5, I really started to pay more attention to the quality of drivers inside the car. Not so much the race results, but just, seeing the talent inside of it and see how much it was growing was something which interested me. I just appreciated the cool layouts, the circuits they were racing at, the locations. So I just thought from the outside in, it was a cool championship to be a part of.
I want to touch upon the first few races, not necessarily the results, but just the experience of the new championship, electric racing. Was it a baptism of fire or as expected?
It was definitely an eye-opener of how talented the drivers were, how difficult it was. The locations you race at are, like circuit-wise, are super challenging and a lot harder than it looks like on TV. It was a difficult start for me in Formula E. I'd be lying to myself and lying to everyone if I said it was just pure bad luck why I didn't do well when I first arrived. I just simply wasn't quick enough all the time. I showed glimpses, obviously that's what allowed me to get the seat in the first place, and I showed pace, but when it comes to a race weekend, it's very different.
I want to quantify that opening to your rookie season and kind of it not being what you want it to be, because I think it was your best finish was 8th in the first 6 or 7 races.
Yep.
And then we come here, Valencia, and you win the race. How did you change from having that struggling start to the season to then winning a race?
I didn't go to bed thinking that night, okay, tomorrow I win. That doesn't happen. I scored my first points and I was a bit confident, but I was just like, okay, I've got my first points on the board, now we can move. And then went into the next day, it was a fortunate group of qualifying and it was on a dry track and managed to make the best of the situation and start pole. We led from start to finish, had the cleanest race possible. The pace was perfect, and we got the win. And surreal moment, huge relief from my side, from the team side. Sort of showed that their sort of dedication and time they put into me and trust, it paid off. It was a relief, an enjoyable moment, and then just gave me the foundations and the confidence to move on from there.
So let's move forward to the end of that season, your rookie season. You have the win in London. That must have been amazing. Tell us about that.
First win in my home soil. Hadn't obviously won since Valencia, and it was just such a big point to win that stage of the championship. It launches into second or third of the championship at that stage, and it was just amazing to share it with family and friends. Yeah, just incredible to race in the XL indoor-outdoor arena. The show they put on, I think everyone was full of goosebumps before the lights went out. It was the first time we saw this amazing show and got the win, and had some fun with it.
But then that was a major high in that season, and then it goes into what I imagined at the time was a major low, but I guess when you look back at it, you think, I was P3 in the championship my rookie season in Berlin. Talk to us about not just going into that race in championship contention, but actually being in the race and thinking, this is mine to win.
Berlin was a special event. We had a pretty good first day. We finished 5th, and that just lined us up perfectly for the championship. There was 4 of us going into it, and it was me, Nick, Edo, and Mitch, and obviously sat on the grid. Qualifying went pretty well. I had at least 50% of my main rivals behind me, and then lights went out, and then Mitch didn't move, so I managed to dodge him, and then Edo unfortunately didn't react quick enough and just went straight into the back of him, and that allowed me to be in prime contention. This is it. This is if we pull this off, it's massive. And then sort of just had to refocus after that red flag. I had a lot of emotions going on, sort of tense, but excitement and just all bubbling up inside of me. And then obviously the safety car started, we did the race, and then literally the first straight my inverter broke and took me out of the race, which was I just couldn't believe it. Like, I just remember my engineer just telling me to like get back out of the wall and carry on. And I was just like, I think I must have said mate. I watched back that clip too many times. I must have said mate about 30,000 times in the space of a minute.
Mate, I'm destroyed in the wall.
Is the car not moving?
Mate, I've just destroyed the car.
And he couldn't believe it, clearly. I couldn't. And just the way we were reacting, my voice was so high, just very out of character from me, and just couldn't believe what had happened. Yeah, so many emotions. After the race, I was so disappointed. Like, it was a long walk back to the pits. I had to walk it. There was no moped. And I think I needed that walk back just to accept what had happened. I remember coming into the garage and hugging my engineers, and like, I mean, no words were needed. They knew it wasn't my fault. I knew it wasn't their fault. It was just a part failure. And
Yeah.
for it to happen like that, the way it did, you just couldn't write it.
Yeah, but then I want to know, surely now you look back on that and think that was a huge achievement in a rookie season.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it just showed that the trust from BMW had paid off, Andretti, myself, and just sort of set me up for the future of Formula E. You know, I obviously extended my contract with Andretti, and yeah, I'm now here. I'm 3 years in, and coming up to my 4th.
Going into, say, we're talking now season 8, you were kind of in what I want to call a sandwich of disappointment, because you started off strong, then you had a bit of a lull period, and then you finished strong.
Yeah.
What changed in that season?
A lot had changed inside of the team. You know, BMW had departed after season 7, and I didn't think it would have that much of an effect on the team as it did. And I only really noticed that from like round 2 or 3. You know, we rocked up to Saudi, qualified in the front row, finished 3rd, I think we did, and I was like, we're good. Like, we don't need BMW behind us to achieve. And then when it came to other tracks, like, we clearly started to struggle. We didn't quite have the resources as the other teams. We didn't have the funding, and it was definitely a period where I was like, now I'm noticing having some issues inside of the team. Sort of towards the end of the season, maybe like the last 4 races or 4 rounds, we got that connection back, and the whole team understood the assignment, and we started scoring, you know, really good points again. You know, podiums, fastest laps.
And again, London being so instrumental.
I didn't expect to win it like we did. You know, we had such a dominant weekend. We had a Grand Slam on Saturday, pole on Sunday, and then a 2nd and a fastest lap. So we almost took maximum points, but it was just an incredible weekend. Again, family and friends were there. I started to fall in love with the place more and more. The XL, just driving indoors on that high grip surface, you just don't really get anything like it like that in Formula E.
Season 9, the debut of the Gen 3 car.
Yep.
Now, I think it's fair to say there was a lot of unknowns,
Yeah.
and you and the team, probably more than many on the grid, were not overly confident going into Mexico with the package that you had, but the complete opposite happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Valencia for us was a tough point. All the preparation we'd done prior to that, we looked quite competitive, and we thought we were in a really good position. And we came here and we were literally 1 second off every lap. You know, Maseratis blew us away, and I went into that winter just thinking, okay, now it's a season of just trying to survive, maybe pick up a point here or there. And then I arrived at the first race and was like, hopefully we get a point. And then qualified on the front row and won the race by 8 seconds. And I was just like, how will we just achieve this? Like, everyone was in complete shock. Porsche 1-2 with Pascal finishing 2nd, and it was just unbelievable. And I don't think anyone will really be able to replicate that again, because we were so far off, and then we won the race with such dominance. To turn it around in literally less than a month from the Porsche guys was seriously impressive.
Mexico, you qualified well, and you had a really strong win. Diriyah, you did so much work in the race to get the podium.
We arrived in Diriyah thinking that we can do this, and then we qualified 11th, and then 6th for the 2nd race. So it was just no performance in qualifying, and we didn't understand why. The car didn't feel bad to drive or anything. It was just like the Jaguars and the DSs were just way quicker than us. But then the races happened, and we just drove past everyone. Had a super competitive race car, and obviously scored another 1-2 with me and Pascal. So yeah, I'm not going to lie, I also thought it was going to be a 2-horse race for the rest of the year, and was excited for that. But it wasn't to be, clearly. It's Formula E. And yeah, the next races were just a glimpse of just like bad luck, not being quick enough, being in the sort of war zone at the start of the race, qualifying like 13th, like it's all well and good saying like, oh, I got taken out by someone else who was 2-3 cars behind me, but I shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, and that's something what we really need to improve on.
Berlin, it felt like everything clicked, or the second race in Berlin. And then from that point on, you had 6 podiums in 7 races.
Yeah, Berlin for me was a massive turning point. We obviously scored the podium in race 2, and from that point on, I was like, right, this is where we turned back the momentum. Thankfully, Pascal and all that weren't too far ahead. They were still like 50 points, but nevertheless, it was achievable. And it certainly was. And then, yeah, we scored the next 5 podiums at some amazing locations.
Your confidence must have been unreal at that point, because it was almost like there was 3 guaranteed things in life: death, taxes, and a Jake Dennis podium.
Taxes, yeah. yeah. To be honest, it seemed that way, you know. And our qualifying performance had improved so much. You know, we put it on pole in Portland, put it on pole in Rome, and I think the worst place we really qualified was maybe like 5th, which was such a turning point compared to, you know, Saudi or those races where we were scoring no points.
And all of that led to that final weekend of the season in London. The championship was up for grabs in the first race. Talk to us not just about the race, but the week going into it, the build-up, the expectation, the pressure, the media, everything.
Yeah, we obviously had a 29-point lead or something like this, or 24 something, I can't really remember, but it wasn't that much in my eyes. I was like, I need one bad race and then it's gone, and then it's level playing field. But I was surprisingly quite relaxed. I was just constantly getting like interviews left, right and centre, and I felt like that kept me occupied and didn't really ever give me a chance to think about the situation, what was about to happen. And it came to Friday, and obviously the first time we got on track, the pressure did start to build by this point. I can't deny that. I was a little bit nervous. I felt like every time I looked at the big screen, it was my face and my eyes just glaring out, and I'm like, kept looking up and it's just the camera's on me the whole time, and rightly so. Like, I had a lot to lose, and but that just added even more pressure. The race was a challenge itself. You know, we started on the front row. Obviously, Nick, my main rival, was P1, and Mitch wasn't too far behind. And yeah, I mean, Nick and Seb did a great job to obviously box me in at the start, immediately back down to P3, and I said that to my engineers like before the race started. I was like, guys, don't plan the race on me leading after turn 1 or being second. Like, we will be third. And so we had a strategy straight away, and they just made it really difficult to exploit any sort of rhythm in the race. You know, Seb did a great job of backing me up and making me waste energy to hold position, and unfortunately it slipped away for them. You know, they made contact and Nick broke his front wing, and from that point I actually thought I'd won it. I'd won the championship as long as I scored 6 points. Yeah. What I didn't understand is Mitch was then leading the race, and if he won I had to finish 3rd, and by that point I was 5th. And I was like, how, like, again, I've got to somehow now like get on the podium, and I still had Antonio to pass, I had Ras to pass, who was having a great race, and sort of had to reset and refocus and do the job. Thankfully we came home second and did more than enough.
And then, okay, you crossed the line. Talk to me about that celebration, that joy within the team.
The moment when you cross the line and you see the checkered flag and you're just emotions, you don't even know what to do with your hands, like you're just like celebrating this emotion of joy, what you've just had, the relief, and to see the team in that, when I got out of the car and jumped onto them, it was amazing to see how much it meant to them, and to share it with all of the people inside of the team meant the world to me, and it really meant everything to them as well. And you only become world champion once for the first time, and yeah, the emotions were pretty special, and hopefully I can replicate it again this year and share it with everyone again.
Well, you said it there, we're here now, season 10, ready to go in a few months' time.
I know, it's come round so quickly, but I'm more than ready.
Love it, mate. Cheers, Jake.
Thank you.